Good morning, everyone. How does the PA system sound? So good. Speakers, we don't have to get very close to the mic. Senator, you don't have to lean down too far. Welcome and thank you, if you would, thank you with that. Thank the Pipe and Drum Corps from Sioux Falls for helping get your attention. So let's give them a round of applause again, please. Thank you. My name is Dick Brown, and it's a great honor for me to be asked by Mark to help MC this program. I happen as one of, like so many of us, different functions I serve. I'm a commissioner of the South Dakota Game Fish and Parks Commission, and this is our unique, special opportunity to recognize another great South Dakota talent, Mark Anderson, really a hometown boy. Mark just returned from 4 or 5 days out in Washington, D.C., where they have the national recognition. We'll have speakers who will visit about that. And this is the official artist's hometown celebration for the 2005-2006 Federal Duck Stamp. And if this isn't a pep rally, it ought to be. So I want it right now just to get you kind of in the mood. Let's congratulate Mark even before he gets up here for a great honor. I know if you do not have a program, please pick one of these up. Mark will be signing things until about 5 o'clock this afternoon. Take a look at all the things that are available. There's a background on Mark. He has a website that gives you some information about it. Our next speaker is going to provide some background on the U.S. Duck Stamp, a South Dakota boy from Faulkton. I'm going to get to him in a second. But I want you to contemplate a second about not only the great achievement this is for an individual, but what a great achievement it is and what it says about his family, about his state, about his love for the natural resources, and for his caring. I and many of us in this room who are native South Dakotans know for a fact that here is a gentleman who is committed not only to his profession as an artist and as a professional, a great one, but to using that quality of service for a wide variety of charitable good. And like many of us, we're members of the Ducks Unlimited. He has provided free paintings and at auctions for, I'm going to list them quickly, and this is only a very small number, Ducks Unlimited, Pheasants Forever, Turkey Federation, the Quail Association, the Rocky Mountain Elk Group, the South Dakota Wildlife Federation, our local club 2990 here in Sioux Falls for fundraisers. But in addition to that, he's provided free painting and services and things that they could auction off for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Diabetes, the Heart Association, McCrossin Boys Ranch, the Lung Association, the Kidney Foundation, it goes on and on. So what I hope, if you take nothing else besides the quality and wonderful, beautiful work you did as a professional artist away, you know that you're talking about a quality individual. And South Dakotan, Sioux Falls loves Mark Anderson, and this is his day. With that, it's a great honor that I introduce to you Mr. Tom Melius, who is the Acting Deputy Director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Tom, if you want to work your way up here, please. Tom, I found out I was visiting with him, is also a native South Dakotan. He can give you some of that background. So welcome back to the great state of South Dakota, Tom Melius.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. And I am a fellow South Dakotan. In fact, I'm back here on a 2-week vacation. I grew up in Faulkton, up in Falk County. My wife is from Britton area up in Marshall County, so I've been catching a few walleyes the last couple of days, and I'm headed back up there tomorrow. But as the Commissioner said, this is a day that we really want to highlight to Mark and the work that he has done. So on behalf of the 8,000 employees, Fish and Wildlife Service, staff who are here working, as you know, the Duck Stamp program, congratulations. Marks, though, is not the first South Dakotan to win this. He is actually the second South Dakotan. Back in 1980, John Wilson won the first duck stamp contest from South Dakota on a pair of ruddy ducks that were featured on the 1981-82 stamp. But as you know, a wonderful pair of hooded mergansers won this year and will be featured on our 2005-2006 stamp, continuing a 70-year tradition featuring the work of some of our nation's best wildlife artists. The Federal Duck Stamp Program is one of the oldest and most successful conservation programs that we've had in the United States, and that success is due in no small part to the fact that Americans have been captivated by the art featured on the stamp. The Federal Duck Stamp Contest has evolved over the years to become one of the most prestigious and lucrative art competitions in the world. Winning the competition is extremely difficult, and as anyone who has viewed and saw this year's program can attest to, the quality of the over 220 plus entries that Mark bested in this year's competition. The competition has produced a series of artwork that connects with the people and conveys in words, in ways that words can't, the value of wildlife and the need to protect wild places that sustain it. Since its inception in 1934, the Duck Stamp program has generated over $700 million that has been used to preserve more than 5.2 million acres of habitat. 98 cents out of every dollar collected goes towards habitat on the ground. And there are 4 wildlife refuges here in South Dakota that have benefited from those funds. La Creek National Wildlife Refuge out West River, Lake Andes National Wildlife Refuge, which is west of Yankton, Sand Lake National Wildlife north of Aberdeen, and Waubay National Wildlife Refuge just north of Webster. Now, you probably know that recently we discovered what was long thought to be extinct, the ivory-billed woodpecker, down at a wildlife refuge down in Arkansas, the Cache River National Wildlife Refuge. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because the benefit of those dollars going to the ground to benefit wildlife, not only migratory birds, but over 80% of the land purchased at Cache River came from duck stamp sales. And so it's wonderful that dollars that sportsmen and women, artists have contributed to this program have been able to help sustain and actually rediscover some species. I want to point out one thing in closing. This year is a little bit of a unique year in that you will see we have 2 stamps, and the self-adhesive, or the stamp that the majority of hunters and conservationists will be buying, will be having a debossing on the face of the stamp that gives a little bit of a relief to the picture of the hooded mergansers. And I think it's something that you will appreciate, and it's the first time we've done this with any stamp in the United States. Those that can go back 60, 70 years, and there are a few in the audience I can see, you might remember the original stamps we had, we actually consigned to people to produce. And then after 17 years into the program, we decided to open up the competition. And so the second stamp that we will also be offering is very reminiscent of those styles of stamps. And again, Mark's work with those hooded mergansers will be greatly appreciated. I am a duck hunter. I'm a duck stamp collector. I have a full set, and I'm glad to add Mark's into my collection. I buy 3 stamps every year. I buy one of the self-adhesive, one of the gum, and then I buy one that I sign and I use for hunting. So I would hope that every one of you looks at that stamp, looks at the artwork, and says, yeah, I'm going to buy 2 and help out wildlife, and also recognize the fine artwork that Mark is the winning artist this year. So on behalf of the employees at the Fish and Wildlife Service, on behalf of fellow South Dakotans, congratulations, Mark, on winning this year.
Thanks, Tom.